Boom. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of On the Bench, episode 3. We've got no Abby Dean this time. We've got no Abby Dean. Very sad. Very sad.
She's very busy person. President things.
Yep.
She's sad. She's had to miss it.
Shame. But we do have Vice President Josh Brown, Treasurer Roshan, and Oshi, our guest.
Hello.
Hello. Right. So, straight into the first topic, we're going to talk about some of the stuff that went down at the weekend. So, let's start with the controversial topic of the handball in the Chelsea Man United game. I'm just losing my voice speaking through that. Handball.
So the controversial handball, for anybody that's watching didn't know, Rashford free kick gets parried out by Mendy. There's Greenwood and Callum Hudson-Odoi both pushing for the ball. Hits Hudson-Odoi's hand, and then after hits Greenwood's arm. And so there's the whole controversial thing of if it's a handball or not. In my perspective, it kind of should be because his arm is in an unnatural position, and by law of what is class of handball, it is because, let's be honest, only Raheem Sterling's arm is going to be natural there, where it's like a T-Rex, so I point like this. So that's my take on it. I don't know about you, Oshi. What have you guys, your views?
Yeah, I've got the same take, to be fair. I'm not gonna lie, when they didn't give us a pen, I was so gassed. I fully expected Bruno to already have the ball on the spot. I wasn't I had him as a captain of FPL. It wouldn't have been all too bad, but still, at the match itself, and I was dreading it. But obviously, looking back at it, I saw the highlights after the game. That's a definite handball. The hand is in an unnatural position. There's no way, 9 times out of 10, even probably 10 out of 10, that's a penalty. But I heard after the game, the referee told Maguire that he didn't want to give the penalty because it would have caused chaos or like controversy, he said, after the game. Because there was apparently, I didn't even know about this, on a Chelsea website a few days before the game. Sorry, my voice. There was an article about United getting decisions in their favor, like against Newcastle, I think, in the penalty bowl. I don't know how they brought up the United Newcastle game, but there was a moment in the box where Maguire, I think, elbowed one of the Newcastle players, and should have been a penalty. Yeah, but then it wasn't. And it was just all stuff about United getting like controversial decisions to go their way, and basically the referee was saying, I didn't want to put in United's favor because then everyone would just be arguing about controversy again. And Luke Shaw spoke about it as well after the game during his post-match press conference. And
that was so confusing what he was saying, I swear. What was going out of his mouth? It was just that whole interview was just so confusing.
Yeah, I don't know about you, I think at this point VAR is like it's like a luck of the draw, really, in terms of one, seeing it as a foul or handball, whatever, like the ref actually seeing it. And then 2, in terms of actually making the right decision. Because obviously Southampton recently have been hard done by many calls. We've been we've been gifted so many after VAR started. Chelsea have been gifted as well, so many. In fact, we've both been given the same amount of penalties, but we've just scored more because our penalty take is better. But that's about it.
I think after I just showed you all the picture of that handball. I think it's pretty clear that doesn't seem very natural. So I would have given it.
I just want to say you want to take VAR for granted because last night, hugely controversial penalty at the end for Swansea against Stoke. Jack Clarke, it's Carl Norton running into the box, and Jack Clarke doesn't even touch Carl Norton. He goes down under nothing, and the referee gives a penalty. And poor refereeing. Glad they take VAR in the Championship because some of the officiating is dreadful. Anyways,
Oh, I was gonna say,
Go on,
in
go on.
that game though, I swear there was. I'm pretty. I can't remember if it was this game or if it was another game, but they were saying the only reason why the penalty wasn't why it wasn't gone the other way in terms of giving Carl Norton a yellow card was because the ref couldn't actually see from where he was. His eye line was blocked by another defender. That's why.
That's the problem. That's where we
Yeah.
need VAR to get another angle in, and that needs to be sorted. Another controversial refereeing decision over the weekend was the West Brom Brighton game. The free kick from Brighton, Lewis Dunk taking it after the referee had blown his whistle. Then the referee blows his whistle again, doesn't allow the goal, and gives the goal, then doesn't allow it again. What do we think there? What my personal opinion is that he's blown the whistle, free kick has to be taken now, and its goal is given.
Yeah, it's kind of like I'm not sure any of you are going to remember this. Back in 2017, it was the year we won the league. We played Liverpool at Anfield. The result was 1-1. The goal that we scored, that we took the lead, David Luiz had a free kick.
Yeah.
The referee blew the whistle. He took the free kick. The keeper wasn't ready, but the goal stood because he blew the whistle. It's kind of like that same situation. Like, if the ref blows the whistle, I don't know why he's blowing the whistle. The free kick taker shoots the ball, then he blows it again before it hits the net. It's not a goal. Personally, it just doesn't make any sense to me. That should have been a goal. And it just Brighton have been really unlucky the past few weeks, and that just keeps on mounting pressure on them. Unfortunately,
they've had I think it's 3 or 4 wins on the trot because they beat 2 teams 1-0, then they went to Anfield and beat Liverpool 1-0, and then I can't remember if they won again afterwards, and then they had obviously this game where they drew. But yeah, no, for that dunk penalty though, I think it is as Oshie said, he's called it. You got to take it at the time, and then you can't change your decision afterwards. It doesn't even matter if the keeper's set already. That's it. You've blown the whistle to start it.
yeah.
It's not going to help Brighton with their next game against Leicester with Lamptey out as well.
Maybe.
But
I wouldn't lie. Leicester have been a bit shaky as of the past few.
Maybe that's our topic for this week's podcast.
Hinting.
It might be, might not be. Anyways, before we move on to Leicester, we're going to talk about some managerial appointments in the week. Ones that screw Doncaster's playoff hopes, automatic promotions hopes up, and possibly lift Ipswich into the playoffs as well. Darren Moore's joined Sheffield Wednesday. Didn't have a great first match, conceding in the 96th minute against Rotherham to end up losing the game. So not great there. And then Paul Cook has joined Ipswich. Manager very much done amazingly with Wigan. I should have stayed in the league if they didn't have the point deduction. And he's now at Ipswich. So does that tilt the balance at League One? We'll find out. And do Sheffield Wednesday stay up with a bit of a risky appointment in Darren Moore, considering the way they play? Nice attacking football. But yeah, that's that. Okay, perfect. We're going to talk about...
One
more thing. Southampton lost again.
Not surprising.
Sure,
it's not surprising anymore.
Let's just...
we haven't got KWP. We lost again.
Yeah, funny enough, Southampton have only had a point from, is it the last 6 or 7 games? And anyone want to guess which team that point was against?
It was against Chelsea.
It was
Charity
FC. Charity FC.
So let's just remind ourselves the team that we want to go down being Burnley.
Yeah, Burnley need to go. They've got to go, blood.
Burnley. Is that Southampton above them by 1 point? Oh no. Oh no.
So,
scored 12 more goals to them.
Wait, quick question. How many points are Burnley on?
29 with 19 goals.
We're in what, game week 26 or 27 now?
20. They've played 27.
Yeah.
So
they need to lose the next 2, and again, like I called, they're on average a draw a game.
Wait, how many points are Fulham on? Because it could actually be possible. Fulham are 18th still, right?
Yeah, 23 points for Fulham.
23. That's just 6 points behind possible.
I think it was a lot.
Get rid of Burnley.
We want
Yeah,
Burnley
Get
gone.
rid of Burnley.
I
We
want,
hate you, Burnley.
I just want to
We
make
do.
money, so I want Burnley to go. I want to make more money, so Burnley needs to go.
Fair play. Right. Leicester City is our topic today.
Underdogs.
The Foxes.
The Foxes, are they underdogs anymore? Probably not. Let's talk.
Yes.
Let's talk
Yes,
a bit.
but in a different sense.
All right. I'd like to
Let's talk,
start saying,
let's talk a bit of history first. We got to go for a bit. We got to look at the past to see the future. Ooh. So 2013-14 is as far back as we're going to go. Not 2013-14, 2012-2013. The fateful playoffs of Here's Hog Dini. That game, that was in that season. That was one of the closest Leicester got times Leicester got to promotion.
Yeah.
Before then, and a knockout penalty that was saved. Watford got the other end, go to the playoff final, eventually lose to Palace, but
yeah.
Next season they go directly up. They win the league. Fair play. Then next season after that, 2014-15, they had the 5-3 on the first game against Man U. I think bottom of the league at Christmas, and
one of the great escapes.
One of the great escapes, along with West Brom, managed to stay up. Nigel Pearson then ends up getting sacked because of some unfortunate situation.
Wait, wasn't this his strangling? Wasn't this where he strangled a player?
This was the strangling one. This is when they got him, his son, and a few other Leicester youth players got involved with Lady Boys on pre-season tour. Just by the way, this is a classic Abby Dean. You can watch the video at your own leisure, but just don't watch it. It's not great viewing. So that ends up with Pearson being sacked. Claudio Ranieri is appointed as the task manager, and the biggest shock story in the recent years.
1,000 to 1 or 500 to 1? Which one was it?
500 to 1, 500 to 1, something ridiculous.
No, it was more
Leicester.
It was more than 500.
I think it's 5,000. 5,000 then 5,000.
5,000 to 1. Leicester City win the league. Jamie Vardy also breaking a record for most consecutive goals in games.
11 goals.
The breakout of N'Golo and Kante.
Mahrez as well.
Mahrez, yes. Or Mahrez, however you want to pronounce it. And yeah, that was that. And then came one of the worst title defences after that. Ranieri sacked in the relegation zone. They did get to a quarter final of the Champions League, so there's always an upside. Craig Shakespeare appointed. He's then sacked the season after, where they get mid-table, and big man Brendan Rodgers has come into the helm, and he's propelled.
Claude Puel was there before.
Yeah, Claude Puel, because he came from Southampton.
Oh yes. I completely forgot about Claude Puel.
He got us to 8th and we sacked him. He got us to 8th and we sacked him.
That did happen, and then he didn't do a great job with Leicester. Then came Brendan Rodgers, and now he's got them into the top 6, and possibly one of the new top 6 clubs. Maybe
they've taken it off Arsenal. Easy.
Yeah, down to club
Arsenal.
Sorry to Arsenal fans, be shit.
Sorry, but you're not good.
Fuck you, Jake. Fuck you.
Wow. Leave the granddad out of this.
Ooh.
He's not a granddad anymore. He shaved his beard. He's no longer a granddad.
He's not a granddad. He's a word I'm not going to say on the podcast.
Yeah, we shall leave.
I'll mention it outside the podcast, but not in podcast recording. Anyways, one of the key men over those few years has been Jamie Vardy.
Yeah.
Reliable goal scorer.
The thing is, Jamie Vardy was picked up from. Yeah. No, I think he went from non-league to, I think he was at Fleetwood,
Fleetwood.
and then Fleetwood to Leicester. And this was like while he was relatively old. He started his career late, but obviously Jamie Vardy being Jamie Vardy, the way he keeps himself fit, his pre-match routines as well.
Energy.
So his pre-match routine is basically he wakes up in the morning, has a can of Red Bull, then he'll go. Obviously, he'll drive over to training and he'll drive to training ground to train and warm up and stuff like that. There he said he has a double espresso, a cheese and ham sandwich because he loves that, and then he has another can of Red Bull to give him his caffeine. And then when he gets to the game, he then obviously has another can of Red Bull when he's actually at the stadium he needs to be, or is in. Is it called the King Power anymore? Is it still the King Power?
It is the King Power.
Yeah, just making sure. And then after that, then he has his game and whatever, and then he's done. But Jamie Vardy goes through so much caffeine, that's why he's consistently running in behind. And it helps him, it helps the team out as well.
So much energy.
Do Red Bull have a sponsor of Jamie Vardy? They need to get it sorted.
They should.
Yeah, they should.
Should. Red Bull. Oi, Red Bull. You're not watching this podcast, but still, get on it. Get on it, Red Bull.
The only thing is, how are they going to sponsor Jamie Vardy when they own 2 football teams?
And an F1 team.
F1 team.
Vardy to Leipzig, confirmed.
Many.
Red Bull, if you're watching, please change the livery of your car. It's boring. It's same old.
Yeah, change the Red Bull. Don't add Perez's sponsors. Anyway, enough of the F1 chat.
Yeah.
That's for the F1 podcast that I will start next year. Vardy's story is obviously an interesting one, as Roshan mentioned. He was a Sheffield Wednesday boy. He was came up through the youth ranks at Sheffield Wednesday. Released for being too short, I think. A classic excuse for many teams. Took the non-league route. Got involved in the sort as well. It's an interesting story about how he was tagged and he was playing football in non-league and had to go back in time to get back on his curfew. Then the Fleetwood to Leicester one, that's also interesting that he wanted to actually go back out on loan when he wasn't getting enough game time. And now he's one of the best in the league pretty much. And his Arsenal story was he didn't want to join Arsenal because he'd set up his family were there. He didn't want to change his family around. And I know that because I've read his book and it's very interesting. Give it a read if you want to have a look into his story. Let's talk about some underrated players of Leicester because I think most of their squad is underrated.
Harvey Barnes.
Harvey Barnes, James Maddison.
Yeah. And Wilfred Ndidi.
Tillemans, yeah. All Brighton, to be fair.
Is Maddison underrated?
It's getting to a point with Maddison and Barnes, I think. He won't be underrated, but will just be fairly rated.
Jamie Vardy overshadows him.
Yeah. I think if you look from the outside in, you see Vardy.
It's like
it's a lot more around that.
It's kind of like because they do all the dirty work and then Vardy gets pretty much he'll get a clean pass from either of them two to then obviously put it in the back of the net. It was the same with Riyad Mahrez. A lot of in that 2015-16 season where they won it, there was a lot of Riyad Mahrez having many touches on the ball and Vardy would have probably about 4 or 5 in particular games and he'd still bang in a goal or two just because he makes a run in behind and all Mahrez has to do is just basically get his head up, look around for where Vardy is and then that's it, play the pass. And I know in an interview as well with James Maddison, he was saying, he goes, having Vardy playing with it makes it so much easier because if Maddison overplays a pass, Vardy will still get to it just because of his pace.
Literally.
Brilliant players. I think some of their midfield generals as well, like Tillemans and Ndidi as well. And Ndidi, from when he started, like playing well, playing consistently, one of the best N'Golo Kante replacements they could have found, Leicester.
Definitely.
Yeah,
I rate him. I love him.
Oh, she loves him as well. I know she.
Yeah, pride of our country.
Yeah.
One of the many.
Defensively as well, lots of underrated there. Fofana, I always like to give a shout to. Even like 19 or however young he is, the minutes he's putting up and how well he's playing for them is very impressive. Sanucci, linked with a move to Man City, struggling with injuries recently, but still when he came in after maybe Wes Morgan, when Wes Morgan was starting to get dropped and they were starting to play less, he stepped up to the helm and to Premier League football like a duck to water, pretty much. And
Johnny Evans as well.
Johnny Evans, massively underrated. Obviously, Man United legend. Could you call him a legend?
He kinda. He's like one of those like mid players where like you remember him because he did do stuff, but like he's not in the god tier with like the Roy Keane, the Paul Scholes, Rooney, Ronaldo, stuff like that.
It's probably like in the Phil Jones category.
No, he's not in the Phil Jones. Now the Phil Jones category is a meme category. That's where you get Harry Maguire and stuff like that. Nah, Johnny Evans like good tier. He's not god tier. He's good tier.
Yeah. Solid player. Picked up on a free. I think it was picked up on a free after West Brom got relegated because of like a relegation clause. Absolute steal for them. Fullbacks as well for Leicester, hugely important. James Justin.
What a man.
Castagna as well. Castagna's been amazing when he's been playing.
Yeah. Even Ricardo Pereira.
Yeah.
Personally, the best right back in the league for me on this day. My personal opinion.
What, Ricardo Pereira?
Yeah, I love him. Absolutely love him. Ever since he was at Porto as well, before he went to Leicester. Absolutely love him, man. When he went there, I was gutted in the summer transfer window.
I was gonna say, like, on his day, potentially, like, there could be better right backs, but then it's like
Peters.
Like each right back plays differently. Like, you got like typical Trent where he's just all attacking. You got typical Wan-Bissaka who's all defensive. You got players like Kyle Walker-Peters and Reece James who can do both.
Everything.
It just depends on like what you class as like a good right back. But yeah, Ricardo Pereira is still a good one.
If you're somehow listening, mate, you better give him his call up, lad.
Southgate's not calling them up. He's not calling any right back up other than Trent. He's not calling any right
Gareth Southgate.
Maybe Reece James could call up Reece James.
No. Southgate's not going to do that because Southgate, he just wants his 3 at the back. He wants 4 in the middle, and he wants 3 up top. That's what he wants.
Play for England, Trippier.
Trippier, massively overrated. Give me a second.
Very nice. We move on to goalkeeper, obviously, Kasper Schmeichel.
One of the most consistent keepers, man. Every single year.
Right.
Yeah, very good.
He's been in the last year or so.
There's been...
he's just that consistent, people just don't care no more.
There's been some talk around Kasper Schmeichel being on the same level as Peter Schmeichel. What would you say? Obviously, I know they played for 2 different teams.
I think Peter Schmeichel was a legendary keeper for Man United, and it's very hard to top his dad, what he's done. But I'd still say he's one of the best in the Prem.
The only reason I'm going to say this now is the only reason I think they're on similar levels is because I think some of the strikers that Big Kasper's faced in the Prem in recent years have been better than some of the ones that his dad faced.
Right, but like Andy Cole, Alan Shearer, he's faced.
Well, the thing is though, Andy Cole played with
Schmeichel. Yeah, he did.
Oh. So did Dwight York as well.
Oh wait, was Cole at Blackburn at some point, or am I just losing my mind?
He was at like Blackburn and Newcastle. You still had Henry. You might have just had Henry at that time. I don't know.
No,
maybe in his latter when he was at City, but
it was Van der Sar that faced Henry.
Yeah,
Van der Sar.
Matt
Letizia was against Schmeichel.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah, Schmeichel.
True. But go on then. I'll retract the statement just for the fact that he was against Letizia.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was against Letizia.
Yeah, Schmeichel is easily the second best keeper in the league ever, obviously behind Czech. But
overall, best keeper overall, you're saying is Czech.
obviously that's a Chelsea bias in me. I know. I mean, Czech does have the most clean sheets in Premier League history, but I mean, obviously, I know
How many more
Schmeichel's a
games
legend
has he
in the
played
game.
though? How many more games has he played though?
So many.
How many more
It's
games has he
it's
played?
just about the clean sheets. We just talk about the clean sheets. Let me just let me have my phone.
I'm looking at this now.
Oh no.
Well, no, yeah, I reckon if like, I reckon Kasper Schmeichel could be the same level as Peter. I think he might need a move to prove it, but I see him quite nice at Leicester. Like he fits in with them.
It's hard to prove with different eras and all of that. It's hard to compare which player is better from each era because they're obviously much different and all that.
Yeah.
But problem is, along with Vardy with Schmeichel, is that they're in their late mid-30s, and Leicester will need to think about replacing them in the near future. Schmeichel, the immediate replacement is obviously their bench keeper Danny Ward, but is he a Prem level? I don't know. And then behind Vardy's Iheanacho, who's done all right, but I think they could probably need a consistent scorer.
I think you could put Harvey Barnes up top instead, to be honest. I reckon instead of like, obviously Harvey Barnes does work well as a left winger / cam / centre mid. You know, that's where he plays around. But I reckon Harvey Barnes up top could actually do bits.
Yeah, Roshan's an expert with Harvey Barnes up top.
All right. I'm gonna give Oshi. You said Petr Cech. I'm just gonna read out the top three, and I'm gonna prove Oshi slightly right here. Petr Cech, clean sheets 202, appearances 443. Just below him at second is David James, 169 clean sheets, but he's played 572 games.
Oh man.
Mark Schwarzer, 151, and appearances 513. If we look at the the percentage of clean sheets, Petr Cech's is 45.6, and the only person I can see in the top 10 who's done better than this is, believe it or not, the Spaniard Pepe Reina.
Oh my! Completely forgot it was that level.
136 clean sheets for 297.
I'd like to put it out there. We have to take into consideration that you've got David James, who played at Portsmouth, and you've also got Mark Schwarzer, who played at Fulham as well. So,
Fulham, Chelsea, Leicester. Played for Leicester.
Oh, segue. Yes.
He only played one game though.
And then you got Pepe Reina, who also played Liverpool, and then had a big gap out, and then went to Villa for a season or two.
Yeah.
So that is there, but yeah. But going back to Leicester,
he actually only played 2 games for Aston Villa. Sorry. Yeah, we'll move on back to Leicester.
Back to Leicester. Obviously, I was saying Harvey Barnes replacing Vardy, but what do we think for like Kasper Schmeichel? Who do we think could replace Kasper Schmeichel?
Well, they've got a very good Dean Henderson. True. They've got a very good loaned out player right now in the Championship, Daniel Iverson, who's 22. He's gone to Preston for Declan Rice's injury. He was very good at League One last season with Rotherham, and it could be worth considering.
Has he played many starting this season?
He's played quite a bit for Preston, definitely.
Did you say he's their main keeper this year?
He is their main keeper due to Declan Rice's injury, though. He came in January, and I think he's played every game since.
Well, it shows progress already. You've seen his last year is in League One, and this year he's in the Championship on loan. So
11
he's
matches,
clearly making a step up.
11 matches so far with only 4 clean sheets, but Leicester aren't really the best. Preston aren't really the best side, to be honest. And 1 out of 4 penalties he's saved. So could be worth looking at for future reference.
Yeah.
But if they could splash the cash and they could go with Dean Henderson.
Lunin.
Lunen's a good one. I was gonna say another name as well. I know Leicester have some really good scouts. Strakosha at Lazio.
Oh yeah,
25-year-old
yeah,
keeper,
pretty
the
consistent.
starting keeper. Yeah, he would be a fan, and it's one I reckon they'd actually pull off because, like I said, they have really good scouts. They go for that one player that not much teams are going for, and they manage to get them. It'd be a
Yeah.
class signing for them for sure.
To be fair.
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't think Dean Henderson's not a bad shout, but I don't think he's going to leave.
I think he is.
No, I don't think. Well, the thing is, he's such a good keeper, but like,
You do know what he's waiting for, right? You know what he's waiting for.
yeah, I know. He's
waiting for pre-season, and then waiting for Ollie to either say, "Yeah, you're not my starting keeper, or you are my starting keeper," and then he's going to hand his transfer request in.
No, I don't think he's going to go I don't think he's going to go transfer request. I think he's going to go loan request again.
I think he's going to go. I think he knows he's good enough.
I think he's too good for a loan, to be honest.
I think he knows his worth.
Way too good.
I think he's going to go loan with option to buy. That's what I think he might do, because then there's a possibility. Because there's a possibility. Then, like, obviously, if he does perform well, he is free to move. But if he does perform well and Ole goes, actually, you know what, you've done really well this season with this team, I want to keep you, then obviously we won't accept the buy part. But yeah.
Yeah, this Henderson situation, it reminds me so much of Cech and Courtois, where Cech was our starting keeper for ages. Courtois was going out on loan to Atletico, and then he came back when he was good. Cech was old enough, he was past it, and then Courtois came in, became the starting keeper. We won the league.
Didn't you buy Courtois and then just let him stay there till the end of the season?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate
it. Didn't you buy Courtois from Atletico Madrid and then just let him stay there for the rest of the season?
No. I saw he was with us, but we loaned him to Atletico.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying you bought him like January or like mid-season or whatever, and then you just let him play the rest of his season.
I'm gonna put it in the sense where we have a good keeper, and we have like an experienced one who's kind of past it, and then obviously when we already know that Cech is past it, we bring in that young keeper, and then he comes in and becomes the star. It's kind of this situation where Henderson has to now take the place of De Gea. De Gea he needs to pass the torch, because I won't lie, he's past it.
I think see, the problem is De Gea is like, I think he is potentially past it, but he still whips out some worldy saves. Like the one in the Chelsea game against Ziyech. Honestly, I don't think Dean Henderson probably would have done the same. Dean Henderson's more like an acrobatic keeper, where he actually gets across really quick from goal. But like David De Gea's positioning wise is a lot better. He's in the right areas always at the right time. I think he's had a major issue with his handling recently, which is what has cost us many points. But yeah.
All I'm going to say, Hugo Lloris is also 34.
Lloris is finished. He's done.
Spurs might be in the market for a new defence.
Could be chasing down Dean. It could be going for a Dean.
I think Spurs are going to spend this summer getting defensive players, because they know their attacks, all that. If Bale carries on, they might actually just buy him.
Yeah.
But that's if he carries on like he is at the moment. He recently got 2 goals and an assist in a game, and he scored in the Champions League. Is he in? Are they in the Champions League? Europa League. Scored in the Europa League as well. So
he scored in both of his starts in the Europa League, because he played against Lask in the 3-3 draw. He scored in that game, and then he scored in this other one against Wolfsberger.
I think he might be getting a bit more settled now, and he might be back. So I think Spurs might go for him, like permanently. But yeah, they'll be looking for a new defence, definitely. So,
hopefully,
Dean Henderson might be catching their eye.
Yeah. Another just one point about Courtois is he was at Genk. He went to Chelsea. Went to Madrid on loan, Atletico on loan. And then Chelsea.
Yeah.
So yeah, it could happen with Dean Henderson, or he could go to Leicester or Spurs. So it'll be interesting to see if there's another option out there. It was mentioned Lunin. They could try and Try and pinch one. Oh yeah, Areola. If Fulham go down, Alfonso.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd
Areola
be a good shout.
great signing. Also Burnley side as well.
Johnston?
If they went down, Pope.
Oh my days, Pope. Oh,
Sam Johnston, he shouldn't be at West Brom. Sam Johnston needs to go somewhere else. He's better than West Brom.
yeah. To be fair, yeah. I mean, he is their best player of the season. He probably should be.
He's literally the reason. I think he's half the reason why they haven't lost so many games. Like if they had another keeper, I reckon they'd probably be like minus 70. Like they just conceded like 70 goals or something like that.
Insane negative.
He's just done damage limitation on them as much as possible. Obviously, it's not the best limitation, but yeah.
But Pope is one that, if someone like Spurs managed to get Pope, man, I wouldn't be too happy with that transfer. To be honest, he is insane on FIFA and in real life
when he's not injured.
The Areola shouts and obviously an interesting one as well because I think he's quite underrated at Fulham. He's done a lot for Fulham, so it'd be interesting to look at him. And striker wise, if Iheanacho is not the man to get scoring again and be trusted up top, he could go with Harvey Barnes, or they could look elsewhere. Maybe Victor Osimhen from Napoli. That's he's
had a good season this year.
Donnell Milan, that'd be a class signing, I think.
The PSV striker.
There's another guy in that league. He got a inform this week. Badu.
Oh, is it the Badu? Yeah.
Badu. Yeah. He's having a good season as well for that team. So
I believe his brother joined Reading maybe, and never heard about again. Denzel Vardy. Yes, that's obviously interesting to look at. Could they play Harvey Barnes up top? We'll see what Rodgers do. Another point about Rodgers. Mm-hmm. Could he be going to Spurs if Mourinho's sacked? That could be a big turn.
No.
I think personally, if I was looking at Spurs right now and the possibility of a new manager at the end of the season, Chelsea missed out on him.
Nagelsmann.
Yeah, Chelsea missed out on him by getting Tuchel straight in. Fair enough, Tuchel's doing a good job so far. But yeah, if I was Spurs, maybe make Chelsea regret their decision. Bit of rivalry going on.
Which is why Mourinho has to win the Europa League so he doesn't get sacked.
The thing is, I think Mourinho shouldn't be. Okay, I know obviously there's Liv and Abby.
It's his second season.
They said he's both overrated and whatever, but I think the thing is with Spurs, the team he got wasn't a title-winning team straight off the bat, and he's trying to make him in a title-winning team. But obviously, yeah, he has been there 2 seasons, but I think he still needs more time to make it. And
next season's going to be his season.
If he does leave, okay, he'd leave, but I don't think Brendan Rodgers will move over because, in my own opinion, I think Leicester have a
perfect fit.
They have a better potential, if you know what I mean. They've got certain players that are younger who are performing right now and should continue to perform. Like Maddison right now, he's still semi-young. He can still keep performing. Harvey Barnes is young, still keep performing. James Justin, incredibly
Most of these people haven't hit their peak yet.
Yeah, exactly. Some people
even their centre mid, Tielsman and Didi, I reckon they're still going to have a peak season. They're still going to get to have it.
Leicester's issue they'll get in a couple of years, what we've just said, a goalkeeper and a striker. That's 2 things Leicester could find. They find
strikers.
Amazing. I mean, Leicester found even in that season 2014-15 when they came up and they beat us 5-3. They played Okazaki up top. We had no idea who this guy is, but he's banged in a goal against us.
He had the show up front.
Do you remember Slimani?
Yes, Islam Slimani. Yeah, they also had Cambiasso as well. It was very good in the middle. Like everyone was like, "Why have they got this old guy?" But you know what? Cambiasso did his job that season. He controlled the midfield, and it's like that. Leicester can just find players unheard of here and there and get them in. So I wouldn't leave. I wouldn't be Brendan Rodgers and just leave and move over. I'd stay with Leicester. They've got potential.
Definitely, I agree.
I think also just going back to Spurs and Mourinho, it was the fact that the way he plays with the one, he likes to get the goal, keep the lead. He just didn't have a good enough defence for that. So maybe they could go for some Leicester players.
Potentially,
got to keep some Leicester.
I mean, the thing is, Mourinho's got decent centre backs. Who would he get? Like, realistically, right now, who would be a potential target for teams to snap up? Like, who would you say teams would want to snap up now from Leicester?
Sanucci, maybe Barnes. If I think what Leicester will do is they'll do what they did with Maguire. They'll try and price them out, and I think they'll go. I think they could go to teams, but massively overpriced. But I hope it doesn't happen to like Harvey Barnes or Madison or anything, because then you have that price tag looming over you and playing at a big club. It'd be just beneficial to stay at Leicester where he's getting top 4 just for now.
I think the players will want to leave.
Yeah. Maybe Sanucci could get scouted from somewhere, but that probably be the only concern for them, really. So I think we've summed up Leicester pretty perfectly there. So
shall we?
Let's round it up.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Let's round it up with prediction of where they're going to end this season and their top target for the summer transfer window.
Fourth.
I think probably a 3rd or a 4th place. And look at the table. See.
I think 4th.
4th. West. You got West Ham behind them. You got Chelsea who are playing better. I'd say 4th as well. A signing for them. I think they need to get a good goalkeeper in the near future, just because Schmeichel is 34, 35. So probably Areola, actually, especially if Fulham get relegated. I'd get him in from PSG, and you could have him rotate with Schmeichel as well, and then mould him into the team. And then Danny Ward can obviously be sold on.
I'm actually going to go with Leicester City 2nd.
You think they'll overtake Man U? And
I think, looking at it, they've only conceded one less goal. Man United have scored 7 more goals than them.
Yeah, we're top scoring at the moment with the high scoring. Yeah, high scoring.
No, you're not. Man City 56. So they're 3 goals above you. But yeah, I think Leicester, especially with obviously Jamie Vardy's recently come back from injury, I personally think that they're gonna overtake Man U at the last bit, get 2nd. And do you know what? I'll go with the transfer target of I said it, but I'll say Badu. I reckon he'll be good striker.
Is he AZ Alkmaar?
Pardon?
Is he AZ Alkmaar? I believe he is.
Yes, I want to agree with you with that one. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He is.
What are you thinking for Leicester?
I'm gonna go Leicester in 5th.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Below Chelsea and West Ham.
Mainly because I remember last season they bottled the top 4 because of the injuries they had.
Yeah.
If you want to look at it now, Barnes is out for 2 months. And now Long Madison's out for. They've got Justin out. They've got I don't know who else, but I know they've got quite a few first team players out. They've already dropped points to Burnley yesterday, which a team that they probably should be beating. They have a very tough fixture list coming up.
Yeah.
I know they play West Ham soon. That's going to be a top 4 battle. If they lose that, then I personally don't think, and United as well. If they
Their
lose
last
those
3
two, there's
games
no
of the
chance in the
season:
top 4.
Man United away, Chelsea away, Tottenham home.
Yeah. It's just if they lose even one of those games, I don't think they're going to make top 4. So I'm going to have them in 5th.
Okay.
I think the transfer target. They might get a striker. I don't think they want to replace Michael just yet. They might get a striker though to back up for Vardy. I'm not sure which one specifically, so I'm just gonna go with what Brown said and go with Baudu, however you pronounce it.
Let me just say, Myron Bozu, or how you say it, 20 years old, 46 games, 21 goals for AZ Alkmaar. In the youth team, he played 10 games and scored 6 goals. So that's pretty crazy.
I reckon teams will be eyeing him up.
I think what Leicester could do is take him in early, train him up, get a few bits of game time, and then try and push him up to being their starting striker.
Yep, could be a shout.
I reckon Leicester will finish 4th. I reckon I think obviously they will drop down a bit because they've got injuries and whatever. But Harvey Barnes will be back before the end of the season because he's out for 6 weeks. So if we're now like game week 27, he'll be back by 33, 34 latest. We've still got 4 weeks to play. So I do think they'll drop points, but I think they'll finish 4th. I think Chelsea will finish above them, or even West Ham if they keep up their form. Transfer target wise, strikers, obviously they do need someone. I was gonna say Ivan Toney from Brentford because he's performing really well, and I think a Prem team needs to snap him up. So Ivan Toney is not a bad shout. Or potentially, I might go with the Lille striker George Weah. He's been
Timothy Weah.
Tim Weah, yeah.
Tim Weah, that's it. Yeah, sorry, his dad's George Weah. No, yeah. So Tim Weah, yeah, he's young at the moment. He's rapid. I think he plays the same kind of style as Vardy, so he could potentially be a decent shout.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Good shout for Tony as well. Obviously, would depend if Brentford went up or boxed again. I'd love to see him bottle because it'd be quite funny.
They always
a Reading fan.
They always
games to watch. What games should we be looking out for this weekend?
There's definitely one on Sunday,
and there's one today actually.
Yeah, we can look at today's games. Liverpool Chelsea, huge game tonight.
Yeah, that is a must-win game.
Sunday is
Sunday's Manchester derby.
Derby again. Another 0-0 draw is what we're looking at.
Got Villa Wolves as well.
Or a City win.
We're gonna. I really hate to say it, but we might actually go 3 0-0 draws back to back. I hate to say it. We might be the Burnley of the top 6. We actually might be that. That's why
I personally think Man City are going to beat you.
I think
you might not score, but City will.
Are going to bend you down and just slap you on the side.
What?
Why have you got enough to do this?
Why have you got enough to do that?
Don't know. Got to spruce up the podcast a little bit. Liverpool Chelsea tonight is obviously a must win because one of them can get back into the top 4.
If we win, we're just 4 points behind United, and before Tuchel came in, I think the gap between us and United was 13 or 10. So please, man, we need this win.
We've just been having some terrible draws. Like drawing to Crystal Palace, it's a no. We can't be doing that. That's got to be a win. But yeah, another big game Monday. West Ham and Leeds. That should hopefully be a high-scoring game potentially. Leeds. West Ham have a new revitalised attack with Jesse Lingard, who's popping in a lot. They've got Rice, who's pushing up a lot further with Souček as well. And is back as well, popping in goals. So hopefully it doesn't disappoint that game.
Yeah, Chelsea Everton as well on Monday.
Yeah. I'm going to point out we've also got the Manchester derby, and we've obviously got Big Bracky wearing a Barcelona top. But I'm actually going to go with their El Clasico rivals. We've got Madrid versus Madrid. Real versus Atletico on Sunday.
Big game at the top of the league.
So Atletico could bottle the league.
It's a good one to watch. Currently, they obviously have one game less than Barcelona and Real Madrid below them, They're on 58, Atletico, and Real Madrid are on 53. So if Real Madrid can get a win, it's good to close the gap on them a little bit. So I think that's going to be a good game this weekend. I don't know if there's one in there. Let me just have a look.
I think there's one in the Serie.
Yeah, I'm just going to give a shout for Huddersfield Cardiff. I didn't talk about it in the first segment, but Cardiff's form recently is insane under Mick McCarthy. They haven't lost yet. They've won 7 and drawn 3. Let me just point out, this is for obviously one of the talking points, and I completely forgot about it. 27% possession and won 4-0. That is amazing work from Cardiff. Wow. And they've got Huddersfield, a team that's only won once in 2021. So it's all to play for. They're 8th currently. They've got Barnsley above them with a game in hand. And they've got Bournemouth above them. So if they win and Bournemouth lose at the weekend to Preston, which they shouldn't be losing to, but who knows? It's the Championship. They could move into the playoffs.
We've got. I'm heading over to Germany. We've got Bayern Munich versus Borussia Dortmund.
Loads of big games going on.
And then
this week is just insane.
Bayer Leverkusen, who are 37 points at 6th place, are playing 9th place Munchen Gladbach at 33 points. So that's going to be a good game to watch out. There's also tomorrow. There's the bottom 2 are playing. FCV Mainz and FC Schalke. That'll be a good game to watch. Seen as, I'm going to go with a Mainz win because 9 points Schalke. Remember when Schalke used to be good? Now look at them.
Yeah, that's when
they won the Champions League a few years back.
Arsenal Huntelaar, and he was a beast.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. And Serie A as well. Juventus Lazio.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yes, I was looking at the wrong game week. Here we go. Juventus Lazio. Is there any more? There's Inter versus Atlanta. That's a good one. First versus fourth.
High scoring.
That seems high scoring. But yeah, a lot of big games coming up this week.
There's a lot of big games this whole month actually. So
yeah,
it's a good month to look out for games of the month. We've got plenty more in the midweek as well. We've got Champions League. This second legs are going again. Dortmund with a 3-2 lead over Sevilla. Porto with the lead over Juventus as well. That's on Tuesday. Then Wednesday, PSG's 4-1 lead with the Mbappe hat-trick. They've got over Barcelona back in Paris. Back in Paris, maybe? I don't know if there's travel issues and whatnot. And then Liverpool got a 2-0 lead over Leipzig. Man City, Southampton, possible pummeling for Southampton against Man City, unless Carl Walker-Peters is back.
I tell you what I mean. The other game, they had to sit in the corner with a book to was scared of a 1-0 losing their 1-0 win.
To be fair, you could argue City back then went in full gear.
Yeah,
they were scared. Nah. They were scared.
You said the second leg is being played at Paris potentially, right?
Yeah, I don't know because of COVID restrictions or whatnot.
If it is being played at Paris, then I'm putting money down on Barcelona just because.
My dear, it's because of what happened last time.
They've lost twice. They lost against Barcelona previously in the Champions League at Paris when Barcelona did that amazing comeback. Then they lost to us as well, both times in Paris. So I'd like to put it out there. But yeah, I'm going to put my money on Barcelona for that game.
I'm going to point out one game in League 1 on Sunday. Oh, wait, no, that's years away. Ignore me. I'll bring it up next podcast, actually.
Nice.
I'll bring it up the next one.
Stay tuned for next week to hear Brown.
Stay tuned for the next week.
Any League 1 and League 2 games? We haven't been down there yet. Down in the depths. Oxford Charlton, that's a bit of a playoff race. Oxford, easy win for Oxford probably. Go on, Oxford. Wait, why am I saying that? I hate Oxford. I'm a Reading fan.
Come on,
why
Oxford.
Why am I saying that? No, come on, Charlton. This is the one time I back Charlton. Come on, Charlton.
I'm just backing Oxford because one of my closest mates is an Oxford fan. That's why.
Well, in the Ligue 1, Marseille versus Rennes, two teams that got knocked out in the Champions League this season, going head to head on Wednesday. It's a mid-table clash, though.
Europa League is where it's at.
Oh yeah, the stinky Europa League.
Champions League is where
Only the stinkers.
The couple of
Stinkers like that.
Who wants a Mickey Mouse trophy? Come on.
Ollie Cohen's going to be happy. Like I mentioned this one, we got Bradford Bolton. That's another playoff race in League Two.
Just got to say that.
Exeter Leighton Orient as well. That's also a playoff game, and I think that's a lot of the games covered this week. So it's going to be an exciting week. We're just going to say that. Look at the results. Just have fun with it. But anyway, that brings us to an end of this podcast. Thank you to Oshi for coming along. Thanks for our regular guests.
Can I just say, Oshi, there is going to be a nice picture of Christensen in your place. Don't worry.
Yes,
lovely. Hopefully he has a masterclass at Anfield today because he's probably going to start.
Tyler, can you make Christensen's forehead bigger? Can you just have a really ugly Christensen? You know when you expand the faces out and it just looks stupid. That'd be amazing.
I'll message him straight after this and tell him
that. A little shout out as well to Bolton, who have pretty much nearly clawed their season back from being right down the bottom of League Two. Near on, they've now pushing for playoffs. I'd like to shout that out.
They might actually finish fourth, and they might I might get my prediction right. So big up Bolton.
If they keep their season up the way they're going, they might be able to scrape automatic as well, potentially, assuming other teams fail. But I just wanted to put that out as a mention.
Indeed. Well, thank you guys for listening. A nice little short one this week, so hopefully it floats your boat, and we'll see you next week. Bye bye.
See ya.
Adios.